mics. Dave Padgett, Rich Shaw from D&R House of Diamonds, tonight's guest here with us. How you doing, guys?
Great. How about you?
Doing good?
Great.
Talk real loud, let the audience hear you. I know you guys have been busy networking today, and it's been a long day. We started out at 7:30 in the morning, Dave and I down on one end of town, and you guys had an event tonight that you were at, right, for Infinity?
Yes.
Absolutely. Great event, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, so they were launching and celebrating their magazine and stuff and all that good stuff. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about diamonds, and I have a song queued up for you guys, just for you. I don't know how well it's going to play on, well, let's see if we can get it queued up here. Do you see what it is? Why are we not playing? Did you turn, oh, there it is.
There you go.
The great, late Carol Channing.
Yeah, so I figured that was a good way to introduce you guys to the show tonight.
That's pretty awesome.
Diamonds. Talk about your background. I know where you got started because I heard it this morning. But how'd you guys get into jewelry?
Well, basically, I spent 22 years in the Air Force, and while I was in the Air Force, I developed an interest in diamonds and gold and minerals. So I decided that when I retired, I wanted to pursue the jewelry industry.
Okay.
So I did. As soon as I retired, I went into the jewelry business, and it's been about 13 years now.
Wow.
It's been a great ride.
Okay. And Dave?
Well, I had a crazier story. I was working at a filling station as a young teenager and decided winter was coming, and I didn't want to spend all my days on the gas station.
Didn't want to be outside.
Time. So a friend of mine told me that a local jewelry company was hiring in the mall, and went down and applied, and lo and behold, 37 years later, still doing it and still love it.
That's good. I mean, you got to have the passion for what you guys do in any profession, but to still have the passion after 37 years, I mean, that's great. Now, I mean, when people think about jewelry, we all think about the traditional methods, the box stores, you know, the kiosks and all of that. But prior to you developing the concept that you currently have, why don't you tell our listeners your background in the actual industry, Dave? I know you worked your way up the ranks in some big companies.
Well, there's some great companies out there, and you know, I started with a national jewelry chain. Most of the listeners out there will recognize K Jewelers, very prominent jewelry company. Multiple logos under Jared's, Belden's, Osterman's. I can go on and on, but I worked my way up from a part-time sales associate in little town Indianapolis, Indiana, and ended up out on the West Coast opening stores for the company during the 80s expansion, and eventually worked my way up to a vice president of operations in the Northeast. And during that period of time, there wasn't a whole lot I wasn't exposed to in the jewelry industry, from the management side to the merchandising side, from the marketing side. So
Tell me you were the one that coined the phrase, he went to Jared.
Well, no, I didn't. I'd love to take credit for that.
Well, go ahead. You can do that here.
But I can share with you that the name Jared comes from Nate Light, who was the chairman of the corporation, who was kind of the brainchild behind Jared's. That is his youngest son's name.
Wow.
So that's where that came from.
Okay. And of course, K Jeweler, every kiss begins with K, is their tagline.
Or back in the 50s, it's okay to okay till payday.
Oh,
see, that's even...
That's your time.
But I don't remember that, because I couldn't buy jewelry back in the 50s.
Exactly.
It's tough on that 7-year-old, you know?
Yes, exactly. Not enough newspaper routes. So, and then from there, you actually worked your way up the ranks in one or two of the companies. I mean, you were a big muckety-muck.
Well, for a little while, I was a VP of operations for multiple stores in the Northeast, about a 5-state region. One of the toughest markets in the United States. But, you know, when you have a passion for something and you enjoy doing it every day,
right.
the days fly by and the fun happens, and you find yourself enjoying it just as much, no matter what your capacity is.
Now, you said, Rich, that the last 13 years was your foray into the industry. But how did you get involved with it once you realized you had a passion and a like for stones and the whole concept?
Well, while I was still in the Air Force, I had a good friend of mine, and his wife was a gemologist, and we had talked about opening a jewelry store when we retired, and they opened a store, and I invested in the second store before I even retired from the Air Force. And so when I did retire, I went right into the business, and it was a family-owned business. Unfortunately, with the economy, it didn't make it, but I went, stayed local and went to a local jewelry owned company here in Las Vegas, and spent the last 7 years with them.
So now the question, because obviously your paths were very different, how did you guys meet?
Well, we both worked for the same large independent jeweler here in town for,
Okay.
probably, I think, really our times, I think, Rich, you started about a week before I did. And we both were general managers of opposing stores.
Okay.
We kind of, it's interesting, our paths in that environment where I worked for Rich for a while, he worked for me for a while. And we found out that we complemented each other in a lot of different ways. And when circumstances dictated that it was time for us to maybe pursue other opportunities, and doors opened that we weren't even aware existed, that we really decided that we had a really interesting concept that could really benefit the consumers out there that really we enjoyed working with on a daily basis.
Right.
And so one thing led to another, and as Rich and I said multiple times, the right things happened for the right reasons, and we ended up with our new concept.
And how old is that concept now?
Well, we're right at about it, just out a year, 1 year anniversary actually,
Okay.
coming up in about a week.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Any anniversary sales or specials we want to kick out there?
We'll find a way to sweeten it. If you're looking to buy something, we'll take good care of that, I promise.
Well, of course, with Valentine's Day right around the corner, that's enough incentive, so.
So now you guys have taken this concept, which is, and I might say, radically different than what most people are used to. Why don't you share with our audience exactly what that concept is and how you developed it and where it's going?
Okay, so what we decided was, being general managers of a high-end store, you have a lot of employees working for you. You have your watch guys, your jewelry guys, your overhead. And so a lot of times people will look on the internet for stuff, and obviously on the internet prices are a little bit different than in a retail environment. And then people come into a retail store and they'll see the price difference, and there's always like there's an elephant in the room there, because what's the difference in the price? You know, so Dave and I decided that we wanted to bridge that gap, and we wanted to be that local place that people can come and we don't have all the overhead, and they can come in and get that price that they see on the internet.
Without losing the professional touch, without someone consulting them and allowing them to benefit from years and years of experience in this industry. You know, there's so many different variables that go into the process of making a beautiful jewelry decision, and Rich and I take a lot of pride in helping all of our guests do that.
All right, we're going to stop right there for a moment, make sure that everything is